What's up, YouTube? Back again with another video. I missed my dread update the other day. I'm gonna send you guys that one as well. But before I make that video, I thought I'd make one of my regular videos that I make every Friday and hit you with that one. So without further ado, let's get into it. 4 reasons why crochet hooking is bad for your dreadlocks. Whenever I make one of these videos, and I made one about twists and I'll continue to make them, I am not making these with the intention of hating on anybody that has used this technique, anybody that's currently using this technique, or anybody that's thinking about using this technique. It just seems like a lot of times on YouTube and just on the internet in general, people aren't realistic with their expectations, but people aren't also realistic with the information that they give you guys. And so it can lead to you not making the correct choice. So these videos are made with the intention of helping you choose what's best for your locks, especially as you're starting them or maintaining them. All right, so crochet hooking, here's a crochet hook. This isn't the one you want to use in your hair. This is a really big version of one. And the reason that I have this one in my hand right now is because I threw away my other one because I don't want to use it anymore. But this is a crochet hook. You're going to use it stabbing into your hair to pull the hair together. Why is it bad? Well, number one is it creates holes in your locks. Anytime you're creating holes and areas of separation in your locks in the one lock, you're going to cause weakness within that lock. And there's not much more you can really say about it other than it just causes holes. It doesn't look good when there's big holes in it, and you really shouldn't. You're using an improper technique if you're doing it anyways in making holes, but it will create holes, and that will weaken your dreads. The second thing is that it can knot the hair so tight that the natural knotting process will be slowed. So it's like with interlocking and in other methods which you're creating knots forcibly into your hair. Anytime that you do that so tight, it creates it so that your hair can't interact and lock like natural. The strongest locks are going to be the ones that are locked through freeform methods naturally. Any kind of manipulation may cause weakness in the locks. It may cause them to thin. It may cause them to break. And so that's why I'm saying the knots will get so tight that your hair is no longer able to interact. It'll just sit there together real tight with a couple hairs wrapped around that are keeping it in place. And so then it never really dreads completely. And if those hairs ever break off that are around it or surrounding the hairs that didn't get to knot the right way, then the dread lock will come completely apart. And that's not good. And so to combat that, people will then crochet the hell out of their hair, which comes to the next point, which is that the more you do it, the more you break the hairs. So every time you stab one of these into your dreadlocks, you're going to take and pull the hair. So if these are 2 hairs, you stab it, okay, the hook catches and it pulls those hairs. Well, sometimes it'll break a hair. It'll pull a hair, but it'll break a hair. Okay, so if you break, half of the hairs in your dreadlock in half, then the strength of your dreadlock has just been weakened by 50%. Okay, you got to think about it like this. Dreadlocks are only as strong as the longest strand of hair. So the longer all of the strands of hair are in your dreadlock, the stronger that dread will be. Okay, if you have little portions of hairs, it's like a rope. If you have little portions and they're all kind of hanging out together, and as long as nothing pulls on them, they stay together. But you have these little portions, something comes along, pulls on it, you get it caught in something, and it just breaks off because they were never full strands to begin with. They were just kind of being held there by the knots that you've created forcibly. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 reason why is that it'll cause some dreads to form incorrectly. What I mean by incorrectly is it can cause split roots. And what that is where you'll have a dread lock that will come together, right? And it's 2 strands of hair that would normally be their own dreadlock. No matter how thin they were, they would normally be their own strand of hair that's locked together, right? And you've taken it and you've forced these 2 to hang out together by pulling hairs in between and intermingling them, right? Well, the thing is that naturally they want to be apart. So as they start to grow, they'll start to grow out V-shaped away from your head. So you have a dread that will grow like that, and the lock will come away, and you'll have 2 pieces of hair that are no longer dreaded together. They've kind of dreaded separately off, and are still joined by that part that you forcefully dreaded together. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is that it can create things like elbows, where your dreadlock, because of the way that you did it and the angle at which you were holding the dread, instead of it hanging naturally or being straight, it'll sit there and do this and curl over. And some dreads will do that. I have hair dreads on my head that do that naturally because of the way the hair grows. So you're not necessarily always going to get that. And if you're getting it and you're not crocheting, and so you're wondering why you're getting elbows, a lot of times it's just the way that your hair grows. Some parts will tighten up quicker than others, and that'll create a bow where that part is tighter, right? But the difference between those elbows and these elbows is these elbows don't go away. The only way to get rid of these elbows is to massage the hair with conditioner and loosen back up that portion of dread. And then once you do that, obviously you have a really loose dread that's not as dreaded as the rest of them. It's not as locked as the rest of them. So those are just some things to think about when you're thinking about crochet hooking. If you're thinking about doing it to either maintain already cultivated or non-cultivated locks, or whether you're thinking about this being the method that you're going to start with, I would tell you that I don't recommend it for anybody because of the dangers. And there's other methods I think that are more detrimental to your hair. People want to say this is the cheat way, this is the whatever. Look, man, if you're free-forming, anything except for free-forming is going to be cheating to you. And if you're not free-forming, then you're going to have your own opinion. So we'll leave that off. But suffice to say that I don't think this is good for your hair. And I think that you, in the long run the risk of thinning out your dreadlocks. And that's the last thing that anybody wants. So I hope that you guys take away something from this video and learn something from this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. Comment down below with your own opinions. I love debate. I love to see it down there. And I'll catch you guys in my 5-month update up next. See you guys later. Peace.